What are you waiting for? Seriously, what's holding you back? Is it the idea that you're not ready? That you don't have enough knowledge, the right equipment, the perfect plan? Let me tell you something. Those are just stories. Stories you've told yourself so many times that they feel real. But they're not. They're illusions, running on a loop in your mind, keeping you stuck in hesitation while the world moves forward. Think about it. Every single person you admire, every creator, every entrepreneur, every leader, at some point they had to take the first step without knowing exactly what they were doing. They had to show up before they felt ready. They had to press record before they had the perfect words. They had to post before they had a massive audience. And because they did, because they took action despite the fear, they built momentum. They learned, they improved, they grew. You see, the idea of being ready is just an illusion. It's your mind's way of keeping you in your comfort zone, and your comfort zone, it's a trap. It feels safe, but it's actually the most dangerous place you can be because nothing grows there, nothing evolves. Nothing changes. You want a different reality? You have to create it. And creation doesn't happen in theory, it happens in action. The problem is, most people spend their lives waiting for the right time, waiting for motivation, waiting for external validation that tells them, yes, now you're good enough. But that moment never comes. Because readiness isn't something you wait for, it's something you cultivate through action. You don't need a better camera, you don't need a bigger following, you don't need another course, another webinar, another strategy session to give you permission. You just need to start. Post the thing, write the words, share your ideas. Because the moment you do, something shifts. You step out of the loop of overthinking and into the energy of creation. And when you create, you send a signal not just to the world but to yourself that says, I am here, I am doing this, I am ready. And here's the truth. The first time will not be perfect. The second time won't be either. But that doesn't matter, because perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. Every time you take action, you learn, you get better, you refine, you adjust, and before you know it, you're no longer the person who hesitates. You're the person who shows up. You want confidence, it comes from doing. You want mastery, it comes from repetition. You want success, it comes from showing up consistently, relentlessly, unapologetically. Because the world isn't waiting for perfect. The world is waiting for you. So stop waiting, stop hesitating, stop overthinking, and just make fucking content. Everything you do, every thought you think, every piece of content you put out into the world, it's all sending a signal that shapes your future, whether you realize it or not. You are not just living life, you are creating it. Right now, in this very moment, you are designing the reality you will experience tomorrow, next month, next year. The question is, are you doing it intentionally? Most people wait for external success before they act like they deserve it. They wait to feel confident before they show up. They wait to be noticed before they create. But that's not how it works. That's backward. The reality you want isn't going to arrive and then change you. You have to change first. You have to step into the energy of that future now. If you want to be a creator, you can't just sit around thinking about making content. You have to make it. You have to put it out there, again and again, without attachment, without hesitation, without waiting for approval. Because every post, every video, every idea you share is a signal to the universe, a declaration that says, "This is who I am. This is what I do." And when you do that consistently, the world starts responding. But most people don't trust this process. They think they need proof before they believe in themselves. They need validation before they can fully commit. And so they stay stuck, looping in their minds, convincing themselves that they need more time, more skills, more confidence before they can take action. But the truth is, confidence isn't the starting point, it's the byproduct of action. The more you create, the more natural it becomes. The more you put yourself out there, the more you realize that the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the fear of not being good enough, none of it actually matters. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that their future success is something separate from them, something they have to chase. It's not. It's something they have to align with. The version of you that already has everything you want is not waiting. That version of you is taking action, creating, sharing, building. If you want to embody that energy, you have to do the same. Success isn't a matter of luck or talent or waiting for the right moment. It's a matter of consistently showing up, stepping into your future self, and making fucking content. Not just once, not just when you feel inspired, but as a habit, as a way of being, as proof to yourself and the universe that you are exactly who you say you are. Because reality doesn't shape you, you shape reality. And if you want a different future, you have to create it now. And you think confidence is what you need to start? That one day you'll wake up and suddenly all the fear, all the doubt, all the hesitation will be gone? That you'll feel completely ready, completely certain, completely prepared? Let me tell you the truth. You won't. Confidence isn't something you have before you take action. Confidence is something you build through action. Most people have it backward. They think successful people create because they're confident. They think the best speakers, the best writers, the best content creators show up because they don't feel fear. But that's not the case. They feel it. They just don't let it stop them. They've learned something that most people haven't. Confidence isn't a requirement. It's a result. Think about the first time you tried anything new. It was uncomfortable. It felt awkward. Maybe you weren't good at it. Maybe you failed. But if you kept going, something happened. You got better. You refined your skill. You became more natural, more fluent, more at ease. And with that growth, confidence followed. Not because you waited for it, but because you created it. This is exactly how content creation works. The first time you post, it might feel weird. The first time you speak on camera, it might not sound right. The first time you share your thoughts, you might second guess yourself. But if you push through, if you do it again and again, you'll realize something. You are becoming the kind of person who creates without hesitation. And that's where confidence lives. The mistake most people make is waiting for confidence before they start. They say, "I'll post when I feel ready. I'll share when I have something valuable. I'll start when I'm sure people will like it." But that day never comes. Because confidence isn't a feeling that appears out of nowhere. It's a habit that's built through repetition. Every piece of content you create is a step forward. Every time you hit publish, you're reprogramming yourself. You're proving to your own mind that you are someone who shows up, and with each action, fear loses its grip, hesitation fades, overthinking disappears, not because you waited for the fear to go away, but because you acted in spite of it. This is how you master anything. You don't become great at something by thinking about it. You don't become confident by preparing forever. You become confident by doing the thing over and over until it becomes a part of you, until showing up is no longer a decision, it's just what you do. So stop waiting for confidence. Stop thinking you need to feel ready before you start. You don't. You just need to take action again and again until confidence isn't something you chase, it's something you embody. Now go. Make fucking content. Your brain is designed to keep you safe. It craves security, comfort, and predictability. It wants to protect you from rejection, failure, and embarrassment. And that's exactly why you hesitate. That's why you overthink. That's why you keep telling yourself, I'm not ready yet. Because stepping into the unknown feels like a risk. But here's the truth. The real risk is staying exactly where you are. Comfort zones are illusions. They feel safe, but they're actually the most dangerous place you can be. Because nothing happens there. No growth, no progress, no transformation. You sit in the same loop of hesitation, thinking, planning, waiting, but never moving. And the more you wait, the harder it gets. The mind convinces you that you need more preparation, more validation, more time. But what you really need is movement. Every creator, every successful person, every individual who has built something meaningful had to step into discomfort. They had to move forward before they felt ready. They had to act before they had all the answers. And because they did, they adapted, they learned, they grew. If they had waited for certainty, they would still be waiting. Most people let fear dictate their actions. They think, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I'm not good enough? But the real question is, what if you never try? What if a year from now, 5 years from now, you're in the exact same place, still hesitating, still waiting, still stuck? That's the real failure, not taking action. Growth requires discomfort. It requires stepping into uncertainty. It requires showing up, even when you don't feel ready, even when your hands shake, even when your voice wavers. Because that's how you break the cycle. That's how you rewire your mind. The more you act in the face of fear, the less power fear has over you. The moment you press publish, you've already won. Not because the content is perfect, not because the outcome is guaranteed, but because you've proven to yourself that fear doesn't control you. And every time you do it, it gets easier. Every time you show up, you step further into your potential. No one who is great at what they do was ready when they started. They became great by starting. They became confident by doing. They became successful by showing up consistently, relentlessly, unapologetically. So stop waiting for the fear to go away. It won't. But you can move forward anyway. And when you do, you'll realize that the thing you were afraid of was never as scary as staying stuck. Now go. Make effing content. Everything you put out into the world carries your energy. Every post, every video, every idea, it all sends a message. Not just to your audience, but to the universe, to your future self, to the reality you are creating. Your content is more than just words on a screen or pixels in a video. It's a declaration. It's a signal that says, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I stand for. And the more you send that signal, the stronger it becomes. Most people hesitate because they think their work doesn't matter yet. They believe they need a bigger audience, a perfect brand, a polished message before their content has value. But that's the biggest lie that keeps people stuck. Your content isn't just about the people watching today. It's about the momentum you're building, the identity you're reinforcing, the reality you're stepping into. Every time you post, you're shaping your future. Every time you show up, you're aligning with the version of yourself that doesn't wait for permission. Because the truth is, people don't follow those who sit in the background waiting for the perfect moment. People follow those who create, who share, who put themselves out there, despite the fear, despite the imperfections, despite not knowing what will happen next. You don't need a massive audience to make an impact. You don't need thousands of followers for your work to matter. You need consistency. You need to keep showing up, even when it feels like no one is watching, because someone is. Maybe it's one person today. Maybe it's 10 tomorrow. Maybe it's the right person next week. The one who opens a door you never even considered. But none of that happens if you don't create. If you don't send the signal, if you don't step into the energy of the person who is already making an impact. You don't attract opportunities by waiting. You attract them by doing. You align with them by proving, through action, that you are already the person who deserves them. Every post, every piece of content is a seed. Some will grow instantly. Some will take time. Some will surprise you. But if you never plant them, nothing happens. Your future isn't built on what you plan to do. It's built on what you actually do. So stop hesitating, stop overthinking, stop questioning whether your content is good enough, valuable enough, important enough. Just create, just share, just put it out into the world. Because your content is more than just content. It's your energy, your signal, your proof to yourself and the world that you are here, that you are doing the work, that you are ready. Now go. Make effing content. People don't need perfect, they need real. They need connection, authenticity, something that makes them feel seen, heard, understood. And yet most people hold themselves back because they think their work isn't good enough. They convince themselves that they need better equipment, better editing, a bigger audience before their content matters. But that's just another excuse. That's just fear, disguised as perfectionism, keeping them from taking action. No one connects with perfection. They connect with honesty, with vulnerability, with someone who shows up even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable, even when they don't have everything figured out. Think about the people you follow, the creators who inspire you. Do you admire them because they're flawless? Or do you admire them because they're real, because they show up consistently, because they share something that resonates with you? The world isn't looking for another polished, manufactured, scripted version of success. The world is looking for people who are willing to show up as they are. And that means you, exactly as you are right now, have something to offer. Something valuable, something meaningful. But no one will ever see it if you don't put it out there. So many people sit on ideas, on messages, on stories that could change lives simply because they're afraid they're not ready. But no one who ever made an impact started out feeling ready. They started out messy. They started out unsure. They started out exactly where you are. The only difference? They took action anyway. They didn't wait for some imaginary moment of perfection. They didn't wait for confidence. They didn't wait for permission. They just started. And because they started, they got better. Because they showed up, they built trust. Because they put their work into the world, they created momentum. That's how success happens. Not overnight, not in some magical moment of clarity, but through relentless, unapologetic action. Your first post won't be your best. Neither will your second. But that doesn't matter, because every piece of content you create is a step forward. Every time you share something, you're getting stronger, sharper, clearer. And before you know it, the thing that once terrified you will be second nature. The fear will fade. The hesitation will disappear. Because you will have become the person who creates without fear. So stop worrying about whether your work is perfect. Stop telling yourself that you need more time, more skill, more validation. Just show up. Just create. Just put it out there. Because the world isn't waiting for perfect. The world is waiting for you. Now go make fucking content.